Well, it's 20 minutes to 7 now. All this week we've been marking the 5th anniversary of Hurricane Harvey. On this day in 2017, Harvey made landfall in Rockport.
In the days that followed, Houston would make history with the first ever emergency shelter that allowed evacuees and their pets to safely ride out the storm together.
It's hard to believe, as of August 25th, 5 years since Hurricane Harvey.
5 years since the storm ravaged South and Southeast Texas. As Harvey stalled out over Houston, Mayor Turner said he knew there was the potential for people not to evacuate if they had to leave their pets behind. It's what happened during Katrina, and for many, it came with deadly consequences.
Those pictures were very vivid with us. For during Hurricane Harvey, we knew that we needed to move a lot of people into the George R. Brown.
On the night of August 27th, the George R. Brown opened to people and their pets.
There were dump trucks arriving with people holding on to animals.
Celeste Shuttlesworth, executive director with Friends for Life, got the call at 10 p.m. from the city to help organize and run what would be the nation's first ever cohabitated shelter.
We were on the phone almost all night calling our friends. We need about 10,000 pounds of food. We need 150 kennels.
She didn't know then they'd be there 18 days sheltering 1,500 pets alongside their owners. Dr. Katie Ike was one of the first veterinarians to volunteer.
Mayor Turner had decided that George R. Brown was going to let animals in, and I was like, I'm going.
She just literally raked her arm down the supply shelves in her pharmacy and raked them into these giant Rubbermaid tubs, loaded them in her van, and said, I'm on my way.
The all-volunteer team would triage nearly 700 animals in the first 24 hours alone. That included help from the late Dr. Stephen Schmeitelli, who, in addition to treating animals and reassuring families, made sure the precious veterinary meds they had on hand were preserved.
And so he rolls up this giant beverage cooler that belongs to GRB. I said, how did you get that? Well, I just took it. I needed it. He was that kind of guy.
They provided mostly preventative care, including mandatory vaccines as they came into the GRB, and there was zero outbreak of disease.
We had no distemper, and I can't tell you how significant that is.
It was a long process, especially the first couple of days, because so many people were coming in, but it was a very organized and quiet process, and people were so thankful.
It was an unprecedented storm met by an unprecedented response.
We wanted a shelter that didn't feel like people had abandoned everything. And in some cases, people did lose everything, but the very fact that they had their pet with them just made them feel a lot better. Friends for Life stepped up in a major way. I'll be forever grateful to them.
And countless veterinarians and vet techs were calling to volunteer during that nearly 3-week stay. Just a true collaborative, incredible effort by everyone involved. Not one animal was ever separated from its owner throughout Harvey at the GRB. They proved with this model that you can safely shelter people and pets together, and now this is the standard that is being used internationally. So it's just an incredible feat.
You think with every storm we learn something, and in this case, that's a big one.
That's right. They saved so many lives.
For how many years people were getting separated from their family members.
And you think back even to Hurricane Ike, you couldn't go together. It was like if you went to these shelters, dogs weren't allowed. That's
the sticking point. It's terrible that the reunification rates were low, but it's worse that people were actually dying in their homes because they said, I'm not evacuating if I can't take my dogs, if I can't take my cats. And that's what we saw in Katrina, and they learned from that and implemented this amazing evacuation plan at GRB. So thank you to the mayor, thank you to Judge Emmett was part of that as well, former Judge Emmett, and then Friends for Life, and all of the techs, the technicians and the veterinarians across Houston, and they said they got calls from across the country and around the world from people wanting to come in and help.
Yeah, that's
great.
Good story.
Thank you.
I wanted to show you this because there's a lot of people who weren't here for Hurricane Harvey 5 years ago. So here's where we were Thursday, August 24th. You have that Category 1 hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. It rapidly intensified into a Category 4 and then hit land, and here was the problem. It stalled. So we always remained on the dirty side of this, and the rain just fell. It continued to fall. It kept falling all the way up through August 29th. Finally, on the 30th is when it finally pushed off into Louisiana. But this was something that we dealt with, and it was just devastating.